everyone, and welcome to our Lipo Life Conference today. The recording is now beginning.
Hi, everyone. This is Mike Renzulli, and I am truly honored and grateful and excited to deliver to you another exciting part of a series of LipoLite training, sales, marketing, scripting, techniques, and golden nuggets. It's much more than simply LipoLite. It's truly you'll be learning skill sets. You're going to be learning and honing and increasing your mindset, your own skill sets. What I want you to keep in mind during this time is this is a process. My hope for you is for you to see it, that we are here to hone your skills. This doesn't necessarily happen overnight, although it could if you really sink your teeth into it and put your heart into it. Just like, for instance, when you were first learning your profession, there were things as you speak about, for instance, a report of findings or how to communicate to your patients. It doesn't necessarily happen overnight. However, I assure you this: the more closely you're able to pay attention, the more and more you're going to be able to feel this sense of confidence, being able to communicate to your patients. You'll be able to attract and experience greater and greater success. So this, more than anything, than simple nuts and bolts and practical things that you're going to certainly be learning, what I can convey to you is see this as we're sharpening your skills. And I was just mentioning to you before, we are here to hone your skills, hold you accountable. We're working on a very powerful accountability process. We want to hold your butts accountable. We tend to not perform at the levels that we're capable of until we know that somebody is going to be looking over our shoulders, that you have to know your stuff, so to speak. And that's a part of what we're going to be able to offer you. So the point being, I want you to see this as you're going to be increasing your skill set. These are skills. You're not born with this stuff. You're not born knowing how to close patients left, right, and center all day long on $2,000, $3,000, even $4,000 for a series of LipoLite sessions. But it's what you're able to do once you learn these skills. So this is your, perhaps you're going to be able to see yourself enjoying the lifestyle that you want to enjoy. Maybe you'll be able to live in that house or drive that car, or you'll be able to finally be that secure person for your family again. Or perhaps you'll be able to attract to you that right person into your life. Whatever your reasons are, we're here to instill inside of your heart and mind that you have a sincere and dedicated and passionate team to help you do this, to help you bring you to the next level. So as you do these, as you learn these skills, and that's what this is. These are skill sets that you will be learning, and they're really a finite amount of skills that you need to learn to truly be at the very top of your game with this business. It's principally the communication skills, the sales, the marketing skills. You have a team here who is able to truly deliver that to you, these skills that you need to learn. Tonight you're going to be learning all kinds of real strategies and nuggets to take your practice to the next level. So as you do so, think about your whys. Maybe you want to feel that sense of respect from among your colleagues, or even within your own family, that you are a person who can truly deliver for them. They can feel this sense of security or protection or maybe even among your friends, where they can see you as this person they can look up to. Wow, that he or she is she's smart. That's a smart chica or guy, where you can be in this position again. What I'm telling you is that here is that you're a vehicle. You've already made your investment. You already was intelligent. You made that intelligent decision to do this. I'm here to tell you right here, right now, make a decision right now that you're going to take this to the next level. Don't just say, oh, this is another one of those conference calls among many that, that we engage in our daily lives. This is you're going to decide right here, right now. You're going to truly put your heart into this, learning this skill set to take yourself way above, because that's what's available, whether you realize it or not. Okay, so having said that, we are also, just for in terms of housekeeping notes, we are also developing, Jill and I are developing a whole series of new trainings to help you, to contribute and add value, to continually feed you and nourish your practice, for you to be among truly the elite. Because I sincerely feel that we have the very best product. We also know it's at the most affordable price, so we know what's happening in the marketplace for good reason. Now it's simply a matter of adding value and truly contributing. So, just to get right into it for everybody, the way your posture, your mental, emotional, business posture needs to be as follows. Whenever the patient walks in the door, it's all about you're comparing yourself to the costs, to the downsides of liposuction, for instance. So our most successful doctors, what they've discovered is when you directly compare yourself, when you do the research in your community, you seek out the plastic surgeons, for instance, in your community. We know this technology is producing results. It's not even a question. And by the way, you need to be able to communicate with complete confidence. They need to feel a sense of sincere confidence in you as you communicate. Look them in the eye and really feel it and let it come across. Our most successful doctors, how they're positioning themselves, their whole paradigm is we are the better, easier, more natural, safer, less expensive alternative to liposuction. So in their presentations, in their communications with the patient, that is their contrast. So what that means is you're going to speak to them, know, for instance, the specific pricing in your community. Is it $6,000, $8,000, $10,000, $12,000? And communicate to them, show them all the latest research shows that, for instance, whenever you destroy the adipose tissue cell, whenever you remove that fat cell with liposuction, which is, of course, is what you're doing, you're destroying it, all the fat cells communicate with the endocrine system, communicate with the body's hormones. So they're discovering that it's resulting in massive, not even a little bit, but massive endocrine disorders and thyroid imbalances, as well as so a lot of patients who have post liposuction, there's all these data showing that all these imbalances are resulting. So here, you're not destroying it, you're permanently shrinking it. It's not simply water that fat cell is releasing. and shrinking. It's the fatty acids, it's the glycerol, the fatty acids. So it's permanent. It's not simply water. So know your pricing, for instance, in your specific community. You say, I know Dr. Jones down the block is charging $8,500 for this section of the body. And I also know, for instance, that Dr. Smith over there on Main Street is charging $9,500 for this and this. A past patient came in, had this done, and this done, and this is what the pricing is. And this is typically what happens in part of your presentation, part of your PowerPoint presentation. We're going to include the pricing of the liposuction and what happens after a period of time, and when these patients don't change their lifestyle, eventually, just like even with lipo, eventually it comes back in uneven places with the liposuction. So you see, I mean, this is more common. The more and more you're going to speak to your patients and be able to speak with a sense of authenticity so that you know specifically your mindset. You want to make the biggest dollars? It's very, very simple. Your mindset is you are the non-surgical alternative to liposuction, period. You can put that in your communications. You can put that in your marketing, but most importantly in your verbiage as you're speaking to patients when you're doing the closing. And you can show them the packages. And also, you can say, not only you're not getting all these uneven body distributions and show them the pictures, this is typically what happens. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but it's not a pretty picture. And it's very, very common. It's not just once in a blue moon. It's very, very common. The more and more you're going to be speaking to people about this, the more you're going to be seeing what I'm saying is true. So, and that's a key part of it. Take a look at what happens with that procedure. And by the way, she paid $8,000. So we're offering you an opportunity to do it for a little less than half. Is it really worth it for you to go through, have that risk factor? So you're going to put that, this is your posture. And your posture. So of course, they're not going to get into, it just negates and neutralizes completely any sense of questioning you. They don't care about necessarily, well, how does this work? They don't care about anything like that. They're just going to be focused on, this is number one thing they're focused on. Because I've spoken to some of these doctors and how that, obviously I'm asking them very pointedly, what is it about your presentation that allows you to charge these higher prices than even national averages? You know, the national average, just so you know, for a series of lipo-light sessions is close to $2,000. Our least, even the lowest in like true blue-collar, economically stagnant areas, they're charging at least $1,000 or $999 for a series of sessions, up to over $3,000 and even $4,000 and $5,000. So these top number guys, where I'm speaking to them, saying, what do you attribute your top dollars to? Two things: complete confidence, where you're not standing in front of them, you're not speaking to, well, kind of, sort of, maybe you're going to get good. No, they feel complete confidence, and they know it because they see it every day, and they do so with the proper protocol, you know, doing the right procedures in synergy with the other protocols, which is a whole other training, which is going to be coming up. But doing it a procedure right, where they're really focused on the results, and then so it's confidence. And then number two is how they're positioning themselves in the marketplace. And when you position yourself as the safe, less expensive, non-invasive alternative to liposuction, they're not even thinking about it. The patient. The number one thing that the patient is thinking about is, hold it, I can get this body. Now it's just a matter of how much can I afford to pay? I can have this. Now it's a matter of how much can I afford to pay. It's worth $3,000, right? If liposuction is $8,000, I can pay $3,000. I think that's worth it. Well, this is exciting. I may need to run this. How am I going to convince my spouse to do this? I really want this. They're not thinking about anything. They're not having any of the doubts. Their whole thing in their brain is, how can I pay for this? And this is where you want them to be. Another thing is, as we've spoken tangentially in other trainings, is if you guys are not using, your powerful tool in your toolbox is that LipoLite, the intake form. The intake form. If you're not regularly using this form, if you're not intimately familiar with this form, you're missing the boat. You're leaving huge amounts of money on the table. You're not closing them. You're not converting them at the high dollars. You're probably discounting, which you don't need to be doing. And what this intake form is all about is understanding and getting to know the patient in a very genuine or sincere way. And you're understanding their emotions, you're understanding their psychology, you're getting to the core of who they are as a human being and what their issues are. What has changed in your life recently? So here's the key thing. I want you to all, after this call and over the next week or whatever, and do so on a regular basis. This is one of the things I meant about honing your skills. Whoever understands this and is able to communicate it the best will be the most successful. Understanding this form and communicating in an emotional way. You need to increase your emotional verbiage. It's like learning a new language to the degree that you can speak with emotional language skills. It's to the degree that you're going to be most successful. This is not pain management or rehab or anything that you may have been experienced with in the past. Weight loss and cosmetic, aesthetic medicine is all about, the patient not only wants to look good, but they want to feel good. This business is everything from the initial phone call to the experience they have in your office. This has to be designed to feeling good whenever they're associated with you or your practice, so they can be ambassadors, so they can go around telling others about their amazing experience. So you have to become a master at understanding them as a human being and their emotional needs of who they really are underneath it all. I mean, if you speak to somebody, for instance, for any guy who speaks to any pretty girl, say, right? Most girls, most females, what they do, especially if they have to be very pretty, most guys or most people, they see them in a very superficial level, okay? They see them, everyone sees them, and most guys are so clueless, they're very crude. They'll comment on their TNA, but they're missing the boat. Meaning, the first guy that comes along and truly sees them for who they are as a human being, who can truly, recognize a sense of heart or goodness or intelligence, this is the person who can truly connect with them. The same thing with patients. To the degree that you can get to know who they are, the things that they're thinking about typically all day long, what has truly brought them into your office. And it's not a matter of, I just want to look good. There's deeper psychological needs, and we need to be psychological, emotional detectives in order to truly uncover and discover and illuminate, magnify exactly what's going on. So you got to be like, to really do this right, you have to be like a little bit of an emotional detective. So take a look at this intake form. It's things like, what has brought you into this office? Because here's the deal. They're thinking about it all the time, probably. If they're not feeling good, if they're somehow feeling any kind of emotional pain, they're thinking about it pretty often. So it's our job, to the degree that we can uncover it and get them to talk about it, is to the degree that they're going to just follow your advice. So with this intake form, you're asking emotionally based questions. You're asking factual questions, but also emotionally based, both. Things like, do you have uncontrollable, or do you feel out of control? Do you eat because of your emotions? Are you embarrassed about your weight? Is successful weight loss a top priority for you? Describe your history. Do you believe weight loss? Do you believe that weight loss is a result of some past experience? The fact that you have this extra weight is a result of some past experiences. Here's the deal. This may seem like a little bit of an invasive kind of, you're asking people personal questions. But this is what I've discovered a long time ago. To the degree that you can look somebody in the eyes and sincerely feel compassion, feel the zero judgment. You need to write that down. Convey zero judgment. Number 2, convey you better meanness. Feel it. Convey you truly care. With you, look them in the eyes and really let them know, I don't care. We are here to make a difference for you. We really do care. Really feel it. Know it. Come from a place within you and know it. And doctors, if you don't have a person like that closing your patients, you need to get one. You can come across as, and we'll certainly go into that in just a little bit, a logical analytical. I'm a technician, and we do tons of these, and you're going to get this kind of result in a very factual way. But I'm telling you, you can ask this. You start with the least invasive questions, then you go to the more invasive questions. Invasive meaning personal. So, here's the cool thing about all this. This is all congruent. This is all in right alignment with all who we are here in this call. Yeah, we all need to make a living. Yes, it is a financial exchange. However, don't you feel like you're almost designed to help people at the same time? So that's the beauty about this. You really can. This is an emotional business. And as long as you feel in your own heart, you care, and find this place. If you need to discover it and uncover it within your heart, come from your heart. Come from this place within you and speak to that part of their heart. I'm telling you, you can get this alone. They will open to you. The idea is like an oyster. It's open to you. They're feeling it. I promise you. That's why they're in there. You got to get them to open to you. And you do that, and you can ask anybody any question as long as they know you care. As soon as they understand, as soon as they get that, boom. So you ask them these emotional questions, getting to understand with this intake form, and you bring them, the whole point of this is you bring them to their point of pain. How long has this been going on in your life? Well, when I was a little kid, I always used to feel bullied at school, or they called me names, and you bring them. The idea is bring them to a point where they really can feel that pain. You want to get them. You're helping them. What you're doing here is you're taking them by the hand. They need to be helped. You have the ability to help them. So this is just a way of taking them out of their inertia and bringing them across to make the right decision for themselves. After all, they've already tried everything else and they've failed. And you got to get them to admit that too, to themselves. You know everything else. You've probably done this. You've probably done that. You've had your mother's recipe. You've been meeting friends. You've tried this diet, that diet. You can't do it on your own. You need help. We have the very, very latest technology. You're going to really feel it. So excited. You're going to be able to see the results immediately. So the point being, you want to get them to the point of their initial sensitizing event, their initial pain, or even the most recent pain, a powerful point of pain. And once you get them, and you can certainly use the intake form as a guide, or even come up with your own questions that you feel comfortable with. You want to, what does it feel like when it's at its worst? What does that feel like? So you feel ashamed. You feel like you don't feel confident. What does that feel like? Tell me, Mary. What does that feel like when it's at its worst? Well, when it's at its worst, I just feel I want to stay in bed, and I just feel depressed, and it upsets me. I feel frustrated because no matter what I do, nothing seems to work. And you let them talk about it. You let them really be in that mental, emotional, physiological place and magnify it. And why you're doing that is you want to get them to realize that this has been going on a long time, and this is painful. In our everyday busy lives, we have so much pressure, so many rules, so many roles we have to play, that a lot of times people have shut off their emotions. So they're not in touch with it. So you're getting them really in touch, connected, where they can feel a connection to this part of them, where all that is. And then, I'm sure some of you are experienced with this thing, but I'm just guiding you on how to do this for this type of industry, for the aesthetic industry. And then after you bring them to that place of pain, then you bring them to their nirvana. You bring them to their solution. Okay, so we don't want that, Mary. On the other hand, what would it feel like for you to feel alive and sexy and really discover a beautiful sculpted body again? What would that feel like? Oh, well, I'd feel like the happiest person in the world. I would just be thrilled. I would be amazed. Okay, which plan works best for you? Okay, we're going to help you. We're going to take care of you. Remember, to the degree that they can feel that you sincerely care. Whoever is doing these consults and closings, this is their place to come from. To the degree that they can, this is a key component of it's going to make all the difference in the world. When they really get that you care, okay, Mary, so you don't want all that mess over there. On the other hand, and even point in another direction of the room, you don't want that negative hell over there. On the other hand, if we go over here and really, what would it feel like for you to feel alive and sexy and sensual and your body all sculpted again? What would that feel like? Over here, you point with your finger or your hand, and the different, you bring it into the land of milk and honey. What is that going to feel like? Well, that would feel great. Okay, we're going to help you. Which is better for you? This plan or this plan? That's it. And then shut up. Okay, we're going to help you. We're going to get you there. Which feels better, this plan or this plan? Or even a smaller, easier, perhaps you can, whatever you feel comfortable with, which works better? We have openings on this date. I see we have, you want to be consistent with your times to be, which is work better for you? I got 10:30 openings and I got 11 o'clock. You give them a choice. So this is their question. Their question is not the question is never, oh, do I want to spend $2,500 or $3,000? No, that's never the question. It's never posed in that way. The question is always, which is better, 10:30 or 11? Let me think about that. Which one can fit my schedule better? That's the question. Or the question is, which is a better plan? You can break this down on a monthly level, like my $129 a month program or the $199 a month program. That's your question to them. That is the way they're going to be able to, makes total sense. And by the way, as you do so, does not make logical sense. Whenever you get somebody to an emotional place and they're making an emotional decision, you always say to them, does not make logical sense. You're really closing them on an emotional level, right? That's what it's really about. But they need to find the logical reasons. They need to find the seemingly factual reasons to make this, to justify in their brain how they're maybe not going to go on that cruise next month. Instead, they have to logically try to figure out to make all the reasons why they're making this emotional reason. Doesn't that make logical sense? That you're going to be not going on your cruise or something like that, or you're not going to be instead buying all those new shoes. Doesn't that make logical sense? So you always ask that question. You throw in logic. Ask them, doesn't that make logical? Doesn't that make sense? Does that make sense? Doesn't that make sense now? After when you know you're having an emotional place, you use those words. Another thing that you need to keep in mind is when you're speaking to a patient, don't see them as you have to categorize your patients. If you want to truly close them as you're going through this intake, you have to see that, you have to figure out which, and we've certainly alluded to this and referenced it in other trainings, which one of these patients, which one of these 8 emotional needs are these patients? Is it somebody who, for instance, a very powerful one for certainly single females, is it the companionship one? What is the deepest emotional reason that they're coming into your door? Maybe they're single and they're divorced, or they've been single while they broke up and they just feel bad and they don't feel good about their bodies. If you couch, meaning if you frame your whole reason of why they need to do this in terms of Sarah, what is it going to feel like when you can finally feel like you can attract this right person to you? You can finally meet this soulmate in your life. What is that going to feel like? What happens is if you hit upon one of their 8 emotional deeper needs, the gongs are going to be going off in their brain, you see. They're going to be like, here's my credit card. You're just striking such at a core level of their need. Now, females certainly know this, guys. Well, most guys don't probably know this, but this is true. Any single female walking around, they're typically thinking, if they're single, or even if they're not single, say they're in a bad relationship, they're thinking about, maybe today is going to be the day where I'm going to meet Mr. Right. Now, this is a little foreign to most men, but I can assure you it's true. And you girls are probably chuckling because you know what I'm saying is true. Maybe today is going to be the day that I'm going to finally meet Mr. Right. So these are one of the emotional needs. So you need to, whenever you're going through your candidates, your patient candidates, prospects, where you're doing a consultation with them, you have to categorize them in your brain. And in fact, I would recommend that, you be consistent with that. Somebody who's good at this should put that even in a very discreet way on their chart, or somebody when it's passed from one patient. If there's more than one patient, with more than one person doing the consultation, to denote that this is where it's coming from. This is how this patient is going to be motivated right here. What is their motivation? What is their core need? What is going to propel them? Maybe so you speak to them. What is it going to feel like, Mary, when you can finally recognize this sense of confidence in you after getting your sessions to really meet that special person in your life? Maybe you're going to be able to sense that, feel this attraction in a way that you have never been able to experience up until this point. What is that going to be like for you when you can finally meet that right soulmate? Or, for instance, the woman or the man who needs to feel a sense of superiority and distinction and exclusivity. What is it going to be? Can you just imagine? You have to learn this as emotional scripting, okay? Just imagine. You put pictures in people's brains. Just picture. Imagine. See in your mind's eye. Recognize what it's going to, or feel. Just imagine if you can feel what it's going to be like to finally, to see your friends looking and they're looking up to you. Or they're feeling jealous of you. They're feeling envious of you because you were so smart. What is it gonna be like when? Can you just hear the words of your girlfriends when they're gonna say, "Wow, look at her! Look how great she looked. What did she do?" So that's the emotional need of somebody who needs to feel superior, or needs to feel admired, or needs to be seen. What is it going to be like? So you paint use words to paint pictures in their brain of scenarios of them talking with their girlfriends, of what it's going to feel like, what the emotion is going to be like within their core, within their stomach, or what it's going to be like to feel that everyone is jealous of you, or you're smart, or you're very wise. You made a smart decision. What is it like your family is going to look at you and they're going to say, "Wow, she's doing good." These people have deep emotional needs for this kind of thing. You see, you have to elicit this. You're an emotional detective. You're eliciting. You're digging out. You're finding out which one of these core, other than conscious paradigms is at work within them. Or maybe it'll be, somebody who needs security. Maybe the job market is not great, or it's highly competitive at work, or maybe they're in sales, right? And what is it going to be like, Bob, when you can feel more confident and be able to sell more? So now we'll be able to be more productive. Now you can finally see yourself sexy and thin, or confident, be able to be around women, being able to really feel powerful. A guy, they need to feel powerful. You're gonna have your swagger back. What is it like when you were like what point in your life when you're able to really feel confident with women? Well, you put them in this emotional state. See what your job is? Which emotional state do I want to put them in? This is your question. Which emotional state do you want to put them in? So, to the degree that you can learn these skills is the degree that you're going to be very, very, very successful, to the point where it becomes second nature. Well, what is it going to be like? If you notice, I was saying the same thing to you guys. Can you just picture yourself what it's going to be like when you learn these skills? Your friends and your family, your colleagues, they're going to look up at you and they're going to say, "Wow, she's smart," right? I was just giving you an example of what you need to do, right? What is it going to be like when you see yourself in that right lifestyle, right? When you learn these skills? Same thing. What is that going to feel like? When you can marry, what is it going to feel like when you can see yourself sexy and thin again? You're going to be able to attract all these people, or you're going to be able to feel more confident at work, or one of the 8, shelter, when you can finally buy that house again because all this good stuff, because you were able to feel more capable. So you have to elicit, using the intake form, you're going to elicit their emotional needs and then tie it to one of the 8 core psychological, other than conscious, core needs, and what happens is they can't help themselves. There's something internal that happens where you're striking upon all the core elements of their subconscious mind. They can't help themselves, but automatically just give you their, literally, automatically just take action. And you said, doesn't that make logical sense? So you tie it in with the logical, you got to connect the left brain with the right brain. So it's all unified now. And the results will speak for themselves. By the way, just as a quick aside, for those of you who refer to me, I just as a quick just side note, for those of you who refer any new Lipo Light purchasers, you will get a free Fine Light or AccuLight mask. Whoever refers, and we have a paid purchaser, we sell it for $1,250. And by the way, if you don't already own one of these, you should, because you can charge $70 a session, at least $50 to $70, or even $80 a session. And these certain packages, you can make an extra. We have doctors making big money on this alone, the mask treatments alone, where you're stimulating the collagen blastic formation, and it reduces fine lines and wrinkles. Or we have the Blue AccuMask, where it's great for acne. If you're not taking part of this, you need to be. So for those of you, obviously a doctor not in your immediate market, because you don't need to do that, but any of your buddies or friends completely different across town, across the state, across the country, who would be a good candidate for whoever purchases it. It's my gift, $1,250. And more important, it's not even the $1,250, it's the money, the extra money revenues you can be doing on that alone. And you sell those in packages of 6 to 12. Okay, so that's a whole nother revenue source. So asking you for referrals is sits in the side. The other thing is, patients need to understand. They need to be in there. They need to realize that they've failed in the past. They must admit, what have you done in the past? That's one of the key intake forms. What have you done in the past? You need to keep in mind. They need to understand. Okay, so you've tried this. You're telling me you've tried this, and this, and it hasn't worked, right? You need extra help here. You need something outside of yourself. We have the very latest technology. It's going to make all the difference. You've tried these things, and it hasn't worked. I have a friend of mine a doctor friend who's one of the top earners, and he says that he learned that it's one of the key things when you go to any kind of anonymous, Alcoholics Anonymous, whatever kind of anonymous, you must admit failure. Admit failure. Hasn't worked. These people have to admit failure. So what you're telling me is you tried this and it didn't work. I don't know if I feel comfortable using that word failure to them, but maybe if they have to understand that what they've done is not good enough, that they need help, and you are the expert. You've done hundreds of these procedures. You've researched it. You are truly an expert. And by the way, the staff needs to refer to you as the expert. You are the expert in this. You're the specialist. You've done this credentials. You've studied this. You have all this experience. You must communicate in terms of your experience, your studies, your credentials. You're at this level of authority. Be seen as put yourself in a frame of authority. You're not just Joe Blow here. You're people of authority. Claim your authority and communicate and express your authority here. We are experts here. The whole staff needs to be on the same page. We're experts. We're specialists at this. We're specialists at Insulos. We have all this experience. This is who we are. You failed. We are the experts here. You need outside help. You need help. This is different than anything you've ever done before. And The patient, in addition to the emotional communication, does not make intelligent. You're making this a very smart, intelligent decision. Goes along the same framework, same lines of does not make sense or does not make logical sense. This is an intelligent decision you're making. They need to feel like they're making intelligent decisions. Another thing, how a doctor went from making very little, to making the big bucks. He changed his format to, as I was speaking before, he's contrasting himself to liposuction, going through it. That's why this is not simply an exercise and, okay, yeah, no. Your task, your job, you need to go to the doctors in your community, learn their details, learn their names, their locations, and what their prices are. In fact, I don't invite you, if you're smart, if I were you, I would go to their offices, have staff people go through a consultation, see their procedures, learn you're in the same business. Only yours is better, do you understand? You have knowledge, skill, it's much less painful. They don't have all the liability. You don't have, all the liability. You don't have all the headaches that's going to happen to this patient after the fact when they realize they hurt their body. So learn their prices so you can communicate with authority and authenticity. I know what's going on over there. This is what's happening. This is prices. You're getting a deal. See, what happens is you're shifting the whole focus. Where's the focus here? The focus is not on, they're not on, they don't really know this. And then it's taking the mystery about it. Now it's just reducing it, simplifying the whole process to, well, you know what? He's absolutely right, or she's absolutely right. I don't want that. Now the whole question is, how am I going to convince my spouse I'm going to pay for this? Let me just think. That's where you want them to be, you see. Now, I can afford to pay. Now the whole question is, okay, I really want this, and how can I pay for this? Or what am I really willing to pay here? That's what it comes down to. It changes, it shifts the whole paradigm to how can just logically justifying it in their brains. So that makes logical sense to do that, right? If they're coming from a true emotional place, but you're telling them, that makes logical sense. So how he did that, how he went from zero to serious dollars, very serious dollars, he shifted his perspective. He shifted his posture. His posture is, you want this? This is what it normally costs. This is those results over there. This is all the problems over there. This is all the pricing over there. Or I'm willing to do it for a little less than half. See, now you're not groveling for $125, $99. No, that's crumbs. You deserve better than that. Seriously, I mean, really, this truly is a mindset thing. Know your worth. And by the way, if you have the person closing anywhere near patients talking about money, who's not good with money, who's not good at, tends to be, oh, they're nice people, let's give them a break. Get those people away from them, your patients. If that's you, doctor, give it to somebody else. You're in the wrong position. Get away from that. The only way to do Groupon, which I'm not a Groupon fan, only because I'm not a discount-minded, oriented person. Groupon is, in my opinion, has everyone thinking, discount, a deal. I mean, seriously. You want to be known as Yes, I understand. It's, you know what it is? It's the very, very, very lazy man's way to get some patients in the door. But guess what? When you break it down, instead of just being busy, spinning your wheels, making no money, no real money, paying your bills, who wants that? You don't want to just pay your bills. You want to do well here, and you can. But Groupon, in my and certainly it's like a cancer. It infects the staff. You know, we're doing so many deals at this price, and you're only getting half of that by the time it's. Yeah, I know you think you're going to upsell them, but these patients, most of them, are tire kickers. They're going from they're Groupon junkies. Study your numbers. You'll see what I'm saying is true. There's only most people do Groupon wrong. The only way to do Groupon is as follows. I mean, in my humble opinion, to my knowledge, there could be other good ways, but the only way I've seen so far to do Groupon is don't forget, these guys, all they care about Groupon, they love when you do these bad deals for yourself because it attracts more patients, attracts more numbers of you making nothing. And if you look at the hard numbers, you're not converting them. And you're spending so much of your staff and your resources, your energy, your focus on these piddly, anthony crumbs. All I mean to say is see yourself, go for retail dollars. Go for if you don't see yourself as a high dollar amount, then see yourself as you can get at least with the market, not the Groupon market, with the middle of the market at least. And that's $2,000, okay? For 9 sessions. So the only way to do Groupon, having said that, the only way to do Groupon is as follows. You do one body part. It's only one session. The whole Groupon is only one session, and you break it down as follows. One body part, half body, or full body. One session. That's $49, $120 for a single body part. Half body is $129, full body $249. Or somewhere in that neighborhood. At least $220 for full body. One session. Single body part, half body, full body. It's the only way. And often you need to say something like, certain patients they need to see on the Groupon that it's at least X number of minutes. Half hour total treatment. It's not, you don't do more Lipo ever more than 20 minutes. 15 minutes to 20 minutes. Single body or one zone, half body, full body. That's the only way. We're running really over here. I've probably spoken, perhaps. The other thing is this. Listen to me carefully. I want you to really see yourself. I want you to visualize yourself. This is part of your homework. In addition to taking out your intake forms and learning the 8 emotional needs, and we'll send you that. You send Jill an email at lipolightjill@gmail. If you don't already have it, you should. Send Jill the email request for either the intake form or the 7, or Dr. Diane Renzulli, my sister's presentation when she did on how to do a presentation, an event, and how to close them. She went into that partially, and get the notes on those, as well as to get the notes on the 8 psychological needs, and role play using it, tying it together with the intake form. The other homework, so you're going to be role playing with that. And doctors, you must do, if you're smart, you would have your staff do this, and this is what they're doing because it's just so wise for yourself. The other thing I want you to do is I want you to see yourself, visualize yourself taking the credit cards or having very happy, skinny patients, happily referring to you. I want you to visualize, see yourself, picture yourself, see the movie in your mind's eye of being very busy, successful. There's something powerful about the mind that just catapults you to your success when you are able to employ that skill as well. Okay, I'm going to really kind of run over. What I would implore you to do is, for those of you who want a mask, if you want one of our fine light masks for fine lines and wrinkles, you refer us. Our number is 877-788-5476. Again, that's 877-788-5476 for those of you who received the recorded version. So you refer us a client for a lipo-light, you get a free mask. It's worth $50 to $70 to $80 for each session. It's worth $1,250. Email me if you have anybody in mind, because everyone typically will call up at the same time. So email me at lipolightpro@gmail.com. lipolightpro@gmail.com. Until next time, that's it for now. We're developing a really powerful series, a new series, new trainings. It's a series of it. We want to thank you for coming, and we'll speak to you all soon. Jill?
Thank you, everyone. We greatly appreciate your time today. If you need any of those things that Michael mentioned, be sure and email either one of us, and we'll be glad to get it to you. We are absolutely, sincerely committed and dedicated to your success, and we're here to help you. We look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you all.